Welcome to Fazza Poetry World, where hearts turn into poetry. Wait, don't rush this moment. Stay here with me for a while. Because what I'm about to say is not just poetry. It's a heart slowly opening, a soul trying to breathe again. I feel it, this quiet heaviness inside my chest, the kind that doesn't scream, but whispers your name in silence. And maybe that's why it hurts more. Because it never truly leaves. I miss you. Not just sometimes, not just on lonely nights, but in the middle of ordinary moments, when nothing seems wrong. Yet everything feels incomplete. Days pass like shadows on a wall, fast, silent, unnoticed. And somehow, with every passing second, I feel like I'm losing something I never even had the chance to hold properly. If time had a heart, I would beg it to slow down. If destiny had ears, I would ask it one question. Why did you show me someone so beautiful, only to place them so far away? Because loving you was never the problem. Missing you, that's where the pain lies. I imagine you sometimes, standing in front of me, not as a dream, but as reality. Your eyes meeting mine, your silence saying everything my words never could. And in that moment, I wouldn't speak. I wouldn't rush. I would just stand there, holding the truth we both felt, but never fully expressed. Because love like this is not loud. It doesn't need attention. It doesn't beg to be seen. It simply exists. Deep, quiet, eternal. But here I am, lost between what is, and what could have been. I look for you in everything. In songs that suddenly feel too real, in nights that refuse to let me sleep, in the spaces between my thoughts, where your name quietly lives. And maybe, that's what scares me the most. Not the distance. Not the silence. But how deeply you've become a part of me. You don't even realize it, but you changed something inside me. Something I can't undo. Something I don't even want to. Because before you, I knew how to exist. But after you, I learned what it means to feel. And now, every feeling carries your shadow. I smile in front of people. I laugh, I talk, I pretend. But inside, there's a quiet storm no one sees. A storm made of unsaid words, unfinished moments, and a love that never found its home. They think I'm okay. They believe the version of me I show. But if they could look deeper, really deeper, they would see the cracks. They would hear the silence between my breaths. They would feel the weight behind my smile. Because the truth is, I'm tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of hiding. Tired of carrying emotions that have nowhere to go. I want to be free. Not from love, but from the fear of losing it. I want to open my heart without the thought that it might break again. But every time I try, something pulls me back. Maybe it's the past. Maybe it's the pain. Or maybe it's the fear that you might not feel the same. And that thought, it's enough to silence everything. Because what if you're just a beautiful feeling that was never meant to stay? What if I'm holding on to something that only exists in my heart still, even with all these doubts? I can't let go. Because loving you feels like the only truth in a world full of confusion. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. I dream sometimes, not of a perfect life, not of endless happiness, but of something simple. A world where you and I exist, without fear, where I can sit beside you, without overthinking every word, where silence isn't awkward, but comforting, where your presence alone feels like home. Because that's all I've ever wanted. Not perfection, just realness. A love that doesn't pretend. A connection that doesn't fade. A feeling that doesn't leave when things get hard. And with you, I feel like that's possible. I feel like, if you were here, everything would make sense. The chaos inside me would finally find peace. The noise in my head would turn into silence. And for once, I would feel whole. But reality is different. And I know that. I know life doesn't always give us what we wish for. I know some stories are meant to stay incomplete. But still, I choose to hope. Not blindly, but quietly. Because hope is the only thing keeping this feeling alive. And maybe one day, when the timing is right, when the world stops being so complicated, we'll meet again. Not as strangers, not as memories, but as something real, something honest, something that doesn't need to be hidden. Until then, I'll keep this love safe. Not loud, not desperate, just present. Like a heartbeat that continues, even in silence. And if you ever feel alone, if you ever wonder if someone out there understands, just know, there's a heart somewhere that beats a little differently because of you. A heart that never asked for perfection, only connection. A heart that still believes in something beautiful, even after everything. So here I am. Not asking, not demanding, just expressing. Because some feelings are too real to stay hidden. And if destiny is kind, if time decides to listen, maybe one day this story won't just be poetry. It will be us. And until that day comes, I'll be here, writing you in my silence, loving you in my own quiet way, and waiting, not with impatience, but with hope. Because some love stories don't need endings, they just need a chance to begin. And maybe, this is where the real story begins. Not in the moments we shared, but in the ones we couldn't. Because sometimes, the deepest love is not the one that stays, but the one that waits, quietly, endlessly, without promise. I kept walking forward in life, meeting people, hearing voices, smiling at things that once felt empty. But somehow, nothing ever replaced you. It's strange, isn't it, how one person can become a whole universe inside your heart, and even when they're gone, their gravity still pulls you back. I tried to forget you. Not because I wanted to, but because I thought that's what strength looks like. They say, move on. They say, time heals everything. But what they don't tell you is, time doesn't erase love, it only teaches you how to live with it. And I've learned that now. I've learned how to carry your memory without letting it break me. I've learned how to smile again, even when my heart feels heavy. But don't get me wrong, just because I've learned to live doesn't mean I've stopped feeling. Because I still do. In the quiet of the night, when the world slows down, and there's nothing left to distract me, I find myself thinking about you again. Not with regret, but with the soft kind of longing. The kind that doesn't hurt loudly, but stays, like a gentle ache you can't explain. I wonder sometimes, do you ever feel it too? Do you ever pause in the middle of your day and feel like something is missing? Do you ever hear a song and think of a moment we never even had? Or is it just me, living in a story that only exists in my heart? I don't know. And maybe I never will. But what I do know is this. What I felt for you was real. Not perfect. Not easy. But real. And in a world where everything feels temporary, that kind of truth is rare. So I hold on to it. Not tightly. Not desperately. But gently. Like something fragile, something sacred. Because you weren't just a person to me, you were a feeling. A feeling I can't describe, but also can't forget. And maybe, that's why it still stays. I remember the version of me that existed when I thought of you. Hopeful, alive, full of dreams I was too scared to speak. You made me believe in something more than just surviving. You made me believe that maybe I deserved something beautiful. And even though you're not here, that belief hasn't completely faded. It's still there, hidden, waiting. Waiting for a moment, a sign, a chance, or maybe just waiting for me to be brave enough again. Because if I'm being honest, fear still lives inside me. Fear of losing. Fear of loving too deeply. Fear of giving everything and ending up with nothing. But there's also something else, something stronger. A quiet courage. The kind that whispers, try again. Not necessarily with someone else, but with life. With feelings. With hope. And maybe that's what this is. Not just a love story, but a journey. A journey of becoming someone who doesn't run from emotions, who doesn't hide behind walls, who doesn't silence their own heart. Because I've done that for too long. I've hidden my truth, buried my feelings, and convinced myself that it's easier this way. But it's not. It's lonely. And I don't want to be lonely anymore. I want to feel again. Fully, honestly, deeply. Even if it scares me. Even if it hurts. Because feeling something real is better than feeling nothing at all. And if love ever finds me again, whether it's you, or someone I haven't met yet, I want to be ready. Not perfect. Not fearless. But open. Open to the possibility that maybe, this time, things will be different. But if it's you, if somehow life brings you back into my world, I won't stay silent again. I won't hide behind hesitation. I won't let fear control my words. I'll tell you everything. Every thought I held back. Every feeling I buried. Every moment I imagined. Because some chances don't come twice. And if I ever get that chance again, I'll choose honesty. Even if my voice shakes. Even if my heart trembles. Because love deserves truth. And you deserve to know how much you meant to me. Still do. And maybe, you always will. But until that moment comes, if it ever does, I'll keep moving forward. Not away from you, but toward myself. Toward healing. Toward peace. Toward a version of me that isn't afraid to feel. Because in the end, that's what matters. Not just who we love, but who we become. Because of that love. And you changed me. In ways I'm still discovering. In ways I'm still learning to understand. You taught me that love isn't about possession. It's about connection. It's not about having someone. It's about feeling them, even in their absence. And maybe that's why this doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like a pause. A quiet space between two chapters. A moment where life is deciding what comes next. And whatever that is, I'm ready to face it. Not because I'm strong, but because I've learned. Learned that pain doesn't destroy you. It shapes you. That longing doesn't weaken you. It reveals you. That love, even when it doesn't stay, still leaves something beautiful behind. So I'll carry that beauty with me. Not as a burden, but as a reminder that once, in this vast, complicated world, I felt something real. and that alone is enough to believe that maybe one day I'll feel it again. Stronger, deeper, braver, and maybe next time, it won't just be poetry. It will be a reality. We don't have to imagine. Until then, I'll keep writing, keep feeling, keep becoming, and somewhere, in the quiet corners of my heart, you'll always have a place.